Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Worldcoin advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee back. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Rich. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel. We cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be as amazing as Bitcoin is, guys. We got Bitcoin sitting at $110,912,000, a new high about 12 hours ago, right under 112. Bitcoin, all-time high right now, is just under 112. Guys, this is something we predicted. This is something the M2 money supply against Bitcoin predicted. This is something that we've been talking about for a long time. And we think this continues. We think Bitcoin's about to enter price discovery. What does that mean? That means Bitcoin is going to go up and up and up until people decide that it's time to sell. We need people to come into the market to sell. But in order to get that, we need number to go up. So it's going to be really kind of cool to kind of see the transactions in the next 48 hours probably going into the weekend, because that'll be when, the big players decide what is going to be a fair value for Bitcoin. We here at OnChain Revolution think the fair value for Bitcoin is way higher than it is. 300 for Yagobi, 700 for myself. And I think we're going to get potentially an amazing year. But what does that mean? That means Bitcoin runs, right? And then what normally happens is Ethereum goes. And then you see some of the bigger alts, the XRP, the ADAs, right? Then it's time to get risk on. When risk on happens, when ADA and XRP starts running, a lot of people feel extremely rich. That money pours in the other assets. Guys, we want to be the show that helps you find those assets that money gets poured into. And we do 10x, 20x, 300x, 1000x, right? I'm excited for this year. I think we're going to have a lot of opportunity, guys, to make a lot of money. But, we got to be patient. We got to let the king run, and we got to pay attention and then kind of decide where we're going to stick our money. But really, really happy that this is happening right now. I mean, we're in May, right? So it's been a long year. But without further ado, bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, dude? How you feeling with this? How you doing? What's going through your head?
Feels great. Feels great to kind of be able to forecast where Bitcoin is. We thought Bitcoin was going to head. Obviously, it was pretty easy. We used a couple tools, in one of those being the M2 money supply that has just been so accurate, right? And then some catalysts coming along. It looks like the House just passed the big beautiful bill. It's funny that that's the title of it, but it is what it is. And so I think there's one more. We got to get it through the Senate, and then I think it'll go into law. So that's exciting. And so look, everything's building up to this snowball that we talked about. Other catalysts possibly entering the game in terms of the Fed, maybe easing up a little bit as well. So exciting times. Obviously, we still got to let Bitcoin kind of figure out where it wants to go. I personally think we got to wait and see where it wants to kind of settle down, and then we'll see some of the benefits coming down whenever people take profit, right? So exciting times though, to say the least.
Yeah, 100%. So do you think that this big beautiful bill, whatever it's called, is kind of the reason why Bitcoin's going up? Because in the bill there's $3 trillion of new money that kind of needs to be printed.
I think that could be just another catalyst, right? But I think no matter what, we were going to see this because we just been following the M2 money supply. We keep saying that, I know, over and over, but it's just been so true that we expected this, right? And so we do know, and so that like Bitcoin probably get to that 130 and then a pullback. We don't know when exactly that's going to happen. A lot of people are thinking maybe like the middle of June, maybe at the end of June. But I think for the next couple of weeks, we should see some really good energy. And that's perfect, leading right into the Bitcoin conference, which typically Bitcoin pulls back. So we'll see. We'll see how Bitcoin acts during that week of the conference, which I think is next week, right? And so, exciting times, man. Exciting times for at least the next 2 to, I would say, 4 weeks. And then me personally, I think like we see a pullback at that point, but I don't think it's long lived. I think it's probably a short kind of needed pullback, and then we continue on.
Yeah, well, the M2 money supply says we're not going to get a pullback here until mid-June.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. 4 weeks.
Okay,
about 3 to 4 weeks.
And then we have a correction back down to about 118, 120, before we have a huge catalyst. I don't know. That has to be a catalyst. You don't go down that far and then just shoot up potentially. I'm thinking we could even skip this, dude. I'm thinking, we get the 130. We can kind of skip that dip and kind of keep going forward. Maybe get a little.
I think most people would want that 30. As well, right? And but that dip will be good because I think that dip will bring. Yeah, exactly. That could kind of ignite the alt season that we all been waiting for, right? And dominance needs to go down. And from what I've seen on my timeline, dominance is still strong right now. We haven't seen a pullback yet for that.
There's dominance right here.
So it went up. It did pull back a little bit after kind of going up a little bit and stuff like that. So we'll see. I think that it's gonna have to be a pretty like consistent, like, okay, we're pulling back from 130 to 110 is pretty drastic, and then everything else start to go up against it. We'll see.
Yeah, you did see dominance, like it had that upward momentum, and then it broke trend coming down. But I think this is actually a higher low. I think that we're going to see something like this potentially with the dominance leading up until that June 15th. Bitcoin's back at potentially 58% dominance, and I think that continues potentially all the way down. I think. And it's just me, what I'm thinking, but I'm thinking we see very similar to what we see going up, what we see going down, and then Bitcoin potentially, but in September, getting to about 50%. I do see Bitcoin getting to about 30% by the end of this year. What do you think about that? You think that's possible? Think Bitcoin getting 30%?
Getting 30% higher?
Low, so getting to 30% dominance.
Oh, 30%.
So dropping about 34% in the next year, in the next 8 months.
Yeah, what was the low last cycle? Because I feel like 30%. Was it 30%? Did it get that low?
Yeah, it was super low. Yeah, let me bring it up here.
I just feel like that's such a low number. I mean, I was
37 was the
okay.
low?
I was gonna say I was happy with like us getting into the 40s because it's just been so dominant. But I don't know. Like that's not something I could just kind of put a guess out right now just off the top of my head. But I think once we get into like the mid to low 40s, we'll start to see some aggressive price action from the alts.
I'm not kind of guessing. I'm kind of going off of what I've seen last cycle. Last cycle, we've seen Bitcoin December 20th. Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 25K, and then alts just kind of took over, right? And then it hit the bottom here about between 38 and about 38%. Before and it stayed,
you said 30,
there
so
for months. 38.
If I know, but your guess earlier or what your
Well,
statement
that's also because every single time we've seen a lower. It's going lower every time.
Yeah, but the difference
right?
is
So,
that the institutions have stabilized Bitcoin. So I don't think we see that low of a drop in the dominance, but somewhere in the 40s maybe, low 40s probably or something like that. But
I'm willing to take that bet. I honestly think we're gonna
hit
see
30.
I think we're gonna be below last cycle's low. So
Okay.
I think we're going to be, because that's just that's what happened every single time, right? And that's not saying Bitcoin's still going to hit 700K, but I do think there is assets and tons of new assets coming on, meaning like Biddle having a coin, and then you're thinking, are you going to add tokens like Base, right? Because it's a stock and now it's tokenized, so potentially you have to add that in there as well. I think there's going to be a lot of newer stuff adding to the markets to kind of take down Bitcoin's
That could
dominance that
happen.
way as well.
That could definitely happen. That could happen,
Yeah.
especially with Ondo in testnet right now, testing these RWA products with JP Morgan. So that would definitely inject a lot of capital into the alts. But we'll see if there's going to be like another classification or anything like that too, because it's different. It's a different world this cycle, that's for sure.
Well, there is dominance charts where Bitcoin minus stablecoins, right? Bitcoin's dominance is like 80%. You can take out the stablecoins, right? So there's going to be different charts that come online, but like I think the Bitcoin dominance over the crypto market, crypto assets, I think drops into the 30s, because I think stuff like Ondo does go to potentially $300 million. You're going to see a lot of
That's if they don't
$300
do
billion,
a new
a lot of different.
classification for those. But yeah, I think stable coins definitely deserve a different classification, because that just doesn't go up or down, right? Unless there's a big break in the way that they work, obviously.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what I mean. So they added stablecoins into this, right? So they're potentially going to add also newer stuff into this, which basically could mean Bitcoin dominance being in, 10-30, between 10 and 30% by the end of the cycle, depending on how much they add and what gets taken out and stuff like that. But there will be a new classification, you're right, coming out at Bitcoin, just crypto assets, like native crypto assets. So there'll be different stuff. But I think this chart, BTC dominance, does drop to an all-time low here and next year. But let's move along here. So 15 years ago today, Laszlo Hanzix made the first Bitcoin transaction to buy 2 Papa John's pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin, worth $40 at the time. In 2010, Laszlo was mining efficiently with GPUs that Satoshi privately asked him to chill, worried it would centralize Bitcoin too soon. That would have been worth $1.1 billion today. Over time, though, he spent roughly about 100,000 Bitcoin on pizza and other items. So Laszlo was just somebody who was super early. You gotta remember, Bitcoin came online. You officially start mining it January 3rd. By about 15 months later, Laszlo had like 200,000 Bitcoin. Right, so he was winning most of the blocks because he had an idea to take his GPU and throw that in the Bitcoin network, and he was winning every block, and nobody really knew what he was doing until they figured it out. But what do you think about this Bitcoin Pizza Day 15 years later? Definitely a reminder to not buy pizza with your Bitcoin.
So first of all, happy Bitcoin Pizza Day to everybody that's listening in. Secondly, I don't think he looks at it that way because he had that conversation with Satoshi, right? So I'm sure he's doing just fine with how much Bitcoin he ended up with. And but it is pretty cool. It's a good kind of like legend or story to tell like your kids and stuff like that will carry down, and it will be like like stories that are 100 years old and stuff. I think they're always kind of like over exaggerated a little bit. This will be one, right? To where they're like, oh, it's worth trillions now, because we'll be like 10-20 years in the future telling the same story.
It's kind of like telling your parents, hey, why didn't you buy Apple in 84? Right? Like, why didn't you buy Microsoft in 88? Right? It's like, I didn't know about it. Right? Like, what do you want me to do? But I mean, you get the same person, if someone does say, oh, he's an idiot, it's like, well, why didn't you buy Bitcoin 15 years ago?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
plus those people don't really know the story though. Like he
Yeah.
knew that like what he was doing. He was actually trying to spread it out. So
yeah. Satoshi asked them to. They said, hey man, like if you have 16% of the supply, like that's not good. Like it's not good for anybody. So, but I'm sure he's well off. I'm sure Laszlo, if he had 200,000 Bitcoin at one time, I'm sure he had at least has 200. And 200 Bitcoin is probably more money than I can spend. Like I wouldn't be able to. I don't know if I could be able to spend 200 Bitcoin right now. personally, but I can probably figure it out though. Jump to the next thing here. Speaking of somebody hoarding Bitcoin or taking basically doing what Satoshi asked Laszlo not to do, Michael Saylor's strategy to sell up to 2.1 billion of 10% preferred stock to fund more Bitcoin purchases. Rumor has it that this could go through today or tomorrow, and Mr. Michael Saylor might be posting the chart on Sunday, which might say that he bought $2.1 billion worth over the weekend. We might see huge upward momentum if that's not what we're seeing right now.
So if people are expecting it too, they probably trying to front run it, right? It's like buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation. So I still think it's going to be really hard to get to 130 by Friday, but you know, I don't know. We got to what, 111? If I'm looking here, almost 112, almost 112. Yeah. So we almost got to 112. I said it was going to be really hard to get to 115 last night. Honestly, didn't think it was going to get to 112. I thought maybe 110, 110.
I said 113 for today. That was
and so look, anything can happen right between today and tomorrow, but I think 20,000 is a little bit too much, right? But that could happen this Sunday, right? So it's not that much of a difference. We're talking about 5 to 7 days, right? So we'll see. This is standard protocol for Saylor, right? Things get bullish. He kind of puts out like some plans, and he buys. He buys when it's going up. He buys when it's going down. He buys when it's going sideways.
Well, think about it, right? So when Bitcoin goes up, the strategy stock goes up, right? Strategy stock goes up. Saylor's able to take more loans against.
Yeah,
because it's worth more, right? So it's like it's the ultimate catalyst. You buy more Bitcoin, the Bitcoin price goes up. Saylor goes up, buy more Bitcoin, price goes up. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens with this, but yeah. So we'll see.
And this too, Danny's right. Smash the likes, it pumps Bitcoin. So when you smash the likes for our channel, it also pumps Bitcoin.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So let's move into a little bit of Avalanche here. FIFA is launching its own layer 1 blockchain on Avalanche. What do you think about this? This is something that I didn't see coming. I did know that EVM is something a lot of these people want to build on. It's just proven at this point. But Avalanche is also EVM. But what do you think about FIFA becoming an Avalanche subnet?
So I believe there's a marketing strategy probably amongst all the major layer 2s or EVM tech stacks. And it's to try to get big brands to be on their chain, right? So I could be wrong, but I think it's more of Avalanche, probably having a representative reach out to FIFA and saying, hey, this makes sense for you guys to build here, blah, 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 blah. Probably won them over. I don't know what incentives there are, but I'm sure there's always incentives whenever you're trying to recruit, brands and stuff like that. So we're probably going to see more and more of this kind of stuff, right? And then you have some companies that might say, well, hold on a second, we're building our own EVM chain, right, for our data, like Sony with Sonium, right? So it makes more sense probably for Sony because they have like a gaming like ecosystem and stuff like that. So we're going to probably see recruiting from the brands, and then also some of these other brands that are Web 2 that kind of have their own chain as well. So this is exciting because we're going to see more and more of this.
Yeah, 100%. And FIFA, this will be its own chain, right? It's going to be basically a fork of Avalanche, but so Optimism is the one that's doing all these layer 2s, the Sony, the base, right? So basically Avalanche is kind of just taking that on and saying, hey, we'll fork Avalanche, but you don't need your own validators. We will run your validators for you, so you don't need to stake anything. And that's kind of the selling point, I think, here. But this is the first of my knowledge, Avalanche kind of reaching out to a major brand here. And rumor has it that VanEck was one of the people that introduced FIFA to Avalanche, because VanEck plans to launch a VanEck purpose-built fund, an Avalanche ecosystem fund targeting tokenized Web3 projects in June. So VanEck is also building potentially their own chain. That's the rumor. It's not official. But they're kind of building their own BUIDL, what BlackRock's doing, but they're actually doing it on Avalanche.
So subnet as well.
So this fund here is going to be basically targeting tokenized Web3 projects. They're going to be paying people to build on Avalanche.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha. So it's more of like a investment fund type of situation.
Yeah.
That's the involvement with VanEck, but FIFA is more of maybe they're one of their clients. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, so exciting though, because like I said, I think we're gonna see more and more of this stuff in the news start to flash, and we'll see how it ends up working out and how people start building in our ecosystem.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is funny now. These chains are like they're trying to recruit people. They're trying to recruit builders, right? It's like, hey, build here. Hey, FIFA, come to Avalanche. Hey guys, why don't you build on EVM? And it's not something that's you're seeing from Solana. It's not something you're seeing from well, I guess you are seeing it from Sui, right? So but we'll get into Sui later. VanEck plans to that's the wrong one. Sam Altman, World Project raises 135 million from Andreessen Horowitz and Bain Capital Crypto via WLD, the WorldCoin token sales to fund network expansion. What is Sam Altman building here, man? I know he wants you to scan your eyeball. He gives you some free WorldCoin. What do you think he's building here?
I think he's probably trying to roll, OpenAI into this somehow and have these projects kind of leverage against each other, right? I think he's also taking a little bit of a playbook out of Elon's playbook, right? Or a little page out of Elon's playbook in terms of, like continually building, right? So he started OpenAI, that's obviously been a success, and then now WorldCoin was kind of weird, but like he's still working on that. Elon was doing similar stuff like PayPal, he took that over, or he was a executive there, and then he left and did his thing with Tesla, and then he also was working on SpaceX, and then the Boring Company and Neuralink. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see more of that kind of playbook from Sam Altman. So
yeah. Well, there's rumors too that Elon's coming after his investment because he invested millions of dollars in OpenAI, which was a non-profit, right? And then it became for profit. So Elon doesn't have any stake. So Elon's going to be suing them. I think Sam's just trying to if Elon does take OpenAI, I mean, Sam's got to have to figure something else out, right?
Yeah, they're starting to become really like the arch nemesis of each other, right?
Yeah.
Like to where it's getting interesting. It's funny.
Who's Batman and who's the Joker in that situation?
Well, I think that story is still to be told, but if you were to ask me right now, I'd probably say Elon's more the Batman, right? That's kind of, well, it depends on what perspective you're looking at, right?
Yeah, 100%. All right, jump to the next thing here. The hacker who stole 300 million from Coinbase users sent a taunting message on chain to ZachXBT after swapping 42 million worth of Bitcoin to the ETH via Thorchain. So this is the thing here. All right, so the hackers. So this is the message in here. So basically, ZachXBT basically gets with Cointelegraph. Not with Cointelegraph, gets with ETH scan. Why ain't that showing it?
Well, are you talking about that YouTube link?
Okay. No, here it is right here. Maybe it's 2.
There it is.
You see the ZachXBT? Okay, here it is.
Yeah, it's right there.
So they sent a message to ZachXBT. Basically, they sent him some Ethereum, but in the input data was they called him a bozo, and then they put a YouTube video. I'm not able to see what was in that YouTube video, but people are saying it was just a meme. It was just like a dance meme, but YouTube actually has taken it down since. But the hackers now, because I think it was so this is a fake phishing. So ZachXBT is the one who labels these and gives them to ETHScan to kind of put there for people. And I think by doing that, they pissed them off. So they sent him a little message calling him an El Bozo and a YouTube meme. So.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is just them retaliating, right, from him trying to label them that address. Yeah,
we're gonna send you some Ethereum, but we're gonna put something in the input data. But yeah, Binance to list WorldLibertyFi USD1. So yesterday we found out that Kraken was planning to list USD1, and today Binance front runs them and adds it themselves. We do know USD1 is a stablecoin by Trump's company, WorldLibertyFi. Do you think USD1 can take market share away from Tether and the other one, USDC?
No, I mean, not right off the bat, but it will build like user base, right? Just because of who's behind it and the organization behind it, right? So, but this is pretty cool because it's showing also like the Binance and kind of Trump entity relationship, right? The ones that handle the crypto side and the East and West are playing nice with each other, right? So I think that's a good sign for the crypto space. But yeah, you know, front running Kraken, not shocked about that. Kraken's been kind of focused on like other stuff with runes and stuff like that. But in terms of market share, though, like USDC is dominant and Tether's dominant, right? Tether's dominant, even though they've been tried, you know, there's regions in the world that have been trying to suppress them forever.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to take time for them to build kind of that market share, but not as much as if it was just a regular new stablecoin that was trying to come into the game. So they have an advantage behind the Trump name.
Well, 2 years ago, every single token on Binance was, you know, had a trading pair with BUSD, Binance USD. Mrs. Warren actually went after when she was going after Binance. Binance, you know, they basically took it down. But then they replaced it with Tether. I'm thinking here, Binance might be replacing Tether with USD1, especially in places like the US and Europe, who are not okay with Tether. So I think USD1 could actually be the choice of Binance here to be the replacement for BUSD.
Yeah, well, it would also replace Tether, is what you're saying, if that's the plan.
Yeah.
But
I think they had no choice to put Tether in.
Is there any specific like research that you did to kind of, or is that complete like speculation based off of context clues?
So right now, they're offering USDT in Binance US, and I'm pretty sure they need to replace that, right? So I was thinking they would replace it with USDC, but it does look like now it's going to be USD1. The fact they haven't already replaced it, you know what I mean? Which I think in the US and Europe, you kind of have to not make that the number one stable. You can probably have it there, but you already see Coinbase took USDT out. So
yeah, and plus it will put them in good favor, right, with the WorldLibertyFi administration.
Yep. All right. Let's kind of get into the fear and greed here. I did not have that up. All right. So last week, we were in the 71 range, or at 71 last Thursday. Yesterday, we're at 69. My hint for you is we're a little higher than last week's 71. Where do you think
73
we're at today? Yep, right on the noggin there. 73, still low. Bitcoin last night, 12 hours ago, Bitcoin was headed above $110,000, right? And then right now, we're seeing that only at a 73. This is so bullish to me, bro. Like I would think at all-time high we'd be in the 90s, but we're in the 70s.
Yeah, but you have to remember too, you know, I'm sure open interest in terms of what perps and leverage, right? It goes into this algorithm, as well as how much meme coin trading is happening, how much, you know, of the risk on assets in our space is happening. And I don't think as much is happening as people probably think right now, right? And we talked about this late yesterday while we were kind of working. You know, Runes has seen a jump up in terms of Doggo to the Moon, but the other ones, you know, they saw a little jump up, but nothing crazy. And you know, I'm kind of messing around with Solana a little bit lately, and I'm not seeing as much like capital going into these meme tokens. Yes, they're kind of running them up and then running them back down to zero per usual, but like some of these utility ones that typically will get a little bit extra sustainability aren't having as much, and so I think that goes into this as well, right? So a lot of data goes into this, and so I'm not actually shocked that we're at 73 right now. I think we get to like that 80 when maybe Bitcoin's gotten to like 120, chills out, pumps the brakes for about a week, and then, you know, fluctuates between 115 to 120, and then we start to get up to the greed because people start to get more risk on and gamble more a little bit with some extra money that they made.
So basically, Bitcoin dominance kind of dropping out of the 60 range. It's kind
dropping
of
a little bit, dropping a little bit, as well as pretty much it will drop it. But like, and then some of these other coins that have no business like pump into market caps that they reach, actually doing it instead of right now. What I'm seeing more is kind of quick little pump and dumps happening, and not too much sustainability. Even for the ones that actually have more substance, they're not like extending, you know. And for an example would be like a token that typically will get to maybe like $15-20 million market cap in the first 2 days, is now getting to like 7 or 8, and then pulling back that second day to like 3 or 4. So I think once we see that kind of extension back to like the 15-20, that greed meter will go back up.
Yeah, 100%. If you had to take a bet on next week's Fear and Greed for next Thursday, what would you say it is?
Maybe like, I would say maybe like 75 to 83 range.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say, and I think it's gonna be between 80 and 90. I just think that we're gonna get really bullish in the next couple weeks. I mean, I'm just talking about the MT money supply chart. I mean, we're on the edge of the upward momentum there.
Yeah.
So,
but Bitcoin only going up isn't going to like force that greed meter up.
It's not just Bitcoin though.
Right? I know, but they're not. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you're seeing Ethereum outshine Bitcoin today. You're seeing pretty much everything outshine. I mean, Ethereum's up 4% today. Bitcoin's only up 1%. So Tao's up 5%. You know, you're not seeing giant gains. Magic Eden's up 7%. Eliza's up 10%. So you are seeing Merlin's up 32%. Holy crap! Damn, Merlin's running. You are seeing a lot of other tokens really kind of, you know,
but they're not
really
having like crazy, like, you know, like right now I look at the top 10, and the highest 24-hour gain in the top 10 is, which is surprising, is Cardano at right under 5%. And it's sitting at like up 4.91%. And then if I look at the weekly, the 7-day, the highest one is Doge at 9.25%. So I mean, we're not seeing that 15-20% yet. You know what I mean?
9% from a token
for a week. For a week though, not a day.
Okay.
Not a day.
Yeah,
it's a week. That's a weekly gain. But once we start to see that, you know, 20% on a weekly gain, and I think that's whenever we'll start to get even more aggressive. And you know, we'll probably we might actually see that next week. You know, depending on how much how aggressive these players in our space get. But I do think that we're gonna have to see profit taking from Bitcoin first, and then we'll see that.
Yeah, but who's taking the profit? That's the, you know, we'll see. All right, guys, let's kind of get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they are launching something really amazing. They're launching on a Bitcoin L2. They want to be the best #1 Bitcoin leverage trading platform. They're going to be on Hemi at first. That'll be the first chain that they're on, but they will be multi-chain. They're eventually going to go to Botonics. But when they do launch on Hemi, you will have an opportunity to not only farm the Artura token, but you can actually also farm the Hemi token. Hemi is backed by Binance. That is a big deal, which basically means that when they TGE, they will be TGEing on Binance. And if that's the case, and you can earn a few Hemi tokens while just playing with Artura, that's a great situation to be in. And like I said, they will also be on Botonics. Botonics is saying they will not have a coin, but who knows if that actually changes or not. But we will see. But they definitely will have some type of incentive program. All these chains do. So by using Artura on Botonics, you potentially can earn some type of incentive from them as well. Highly recommend you guys using both chains. I mean, why not? It's free money. And messing with Artura and actually kind of learning how to trade, because it is easy to trade in the bull market. It's hard to trade in the bear market, but you have to be careful both times.
Well, you still got a limited time.
Yeah. But yeah, 100%. But definitely check out Artura.finance.
Yep, for sure. It's going to be exciting, guys. There's going to be a lot of projects, I said this yesterday, that are in the Bitcoin ecosystem that you guys have probably been waiting to be released. And I think that we'll see a lot of them come out. And Artura is one of those projects here in the next, I would say, 2, 4, 6 weeks. But yeah, before we get into some Bitcoin price action, if you could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, let's share the space. Let's get going. Let's get some people in here and to help educate them as well. And then on the Abstract side, guys, if you could share that stream, we'd greatly appreciate it as well. Let's dive into some Bitcoin price action, starting with the hour chart here. Diving in here. So looking pretty good, right? Like, I mean, this trend is looking great. We see this uptrend really starting, I want to say Tuesday of this week, right? So we did see us reach that all-time high of 111,900 right at that 112 mark. We did pull back overnight. Now we are kind of trying to kind of come back up out of the pullback that we had this morning. So we are still sitting at 111,283 though. That's a really good price point if you ask me, but it does look like we are still in the kind of sell pressure zone right here on the MACD, right? It's not extremely strong, but it's still there. I think it feels kind of like medium strength here. You can see also the stochastic RSI is definitely still pointing down. We do need to see kind of a reversal here to get back to that 20-point mark there on stochastic RSI. And then the blue leading indicator line on the MACD really needs to kind of turn around as well to start pointing back up for us to do a full reversal, in my opinion. But while these indicators are like this, we are still looking like we're trying to bounce back up here. So for the hour chart, right, I feel like we're probably going to try to find, our footing here. We did have a pretty big rise up last night, and look, we're still at 111,200. That's a great price for Bitcoin at the time that we're at right now, right? So I do want to see these indicators kind of reverse. Maybe that's what's happening here. You can see the candle that we're on right now definitely wants to push back up. If you look here, bring this data in a little bit, from yesterday at 7 p.m. to where we are right now, Central Time. You can see the support and resistance. The support's a little bit stronger where we are right now. Where we were at right now. Yeah, and it's actually a decent amount stronger where we are right now. It's this 11,200, 111,200. And then we have some strength up here too. So if we could push up here, we might get some momentum to push back through. Maybe we hit a new all-time high for the second half of today. But we do need to turn this around a little bit. So we need to see if this liquidity can push us up above where we were yesterday and start to get some new all-time highs, right? That will change the direction of these leading indicators. But for now, they seem like they still want to kind of have a chop a little bit to the downside. So I don't know. I do feel like this where we are right now does want to get aggressive. So I want to say that, maybe we chop with a little bit more downside and then we reverse it for the second half. Obviously, I'm saying that with more of optimistic outlook, right? But the indicators look like they want to have a little bit of a downtrend. So we'll see what happens for the second half of today there. And then the 4-hour chart is looking like it's a bit exhausted here. You can see that we've been up here for a while, since Tuesday when we started that uptrend on the 1 hour, and now it looks like it wants to head back down. So that could actually support what the 1 hour indicators are showing us before. So maybe we do finish the day a little bit down, maybe a little bit below 110. The stochastics looks like it wants to come down. We'll see if this continues, if it gets past that quarter mark here to the halfway mark and then eventually gets to the oversold territory. The MACD looks like it is starting to exhaust here. But, the 4 hour is such a, each candle's 4 hours, right? So this takes a long time to form. So the 1 hour could really kind of turn this around as well. So we do need to see how that first chart plays out, and it will give us some more, forecast for the next couple of days. But yeah, it does look a little exhausted here. So we'll see how the next 2 days plays out. That will give us Friday and Saturday. But hey, we're still looking good. New all-time highs, back-to-back days. I love it. And the weekly chart just looks great. Just green candles only. Like I said, once we did arrive here in the overbought territory, I imagine we would stay here for a while. Even if we do have a red candle week, I expect us to get to that 130, whether it takes 2 or 4 weeks. So we're looking really good there on the weekly chart as well. You can see we are well above the 50-day EMA. We are just cruising right now. It looks great. And then let's go to the others chart, which is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10 blue chips. We have started to ascend. So this is good. This is really good. We are back above the 50-day EMA on the weekly chart for the others category. We have arrived into the overbought territory, which the weekly chart, we will stay here for a minute. So yeah, man, maybe you're right here. Maybe some of these alts start to get, hyper aggressive. Right. And we're definitely looking good on the weekly chart. That is for sure. I didn't necessarily expect us to be kind of fast tracking here. I expected us to be right below maybe the 50-day EMA. And then next week we would maybe get above it, but we have already arrived. Let's see if we finish the week this way. Right. But that is what I see with the others. And then let's spend a little bit of time here on the bubbles. This is the crypto bubbles data. You can see here some pretty big. Wow, that WorldCoin is up 26.1%. So that news must have did a lot for it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, big Andreessen Horowitz coming in. I mean, that's a heavy buy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
Where's the Farcoin? Where's our leading indicator? I said
here.
yesterday. I said, all right, so tomorrow we'll be up 12%, guys. Just so you guys know, the whole market will be up 12%. I said it yesterday. I said, Bitcoin is up 10%, right, or something like that because of Farcoin.
Well, you said, you said that. Yeah. I think Farcoin was up 19% yesterday, but you did say
no, it was lower than that. It was like
was it?
It was like
maybe it was
like 8 to 10%. It was like there.
Gotcha.
I was like, tomorrow we're gonna be up, and then look at everything else, right? I mean, everything's up. So tomorrow we're gonna have another green day. Thanks to Farcoin. So
thanks to Farcoin. Farcoin is definitely
leading indicator, bro.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. Yeah. This cycle's Doge is what a lot of people are saying. But our guy Danny said hype. He's been hype about hype. Hyper Liquid is up 18% here. Core is up 11.4%. And the funny thing is Core is a Bitcoin layer 2, but most of the Bitcoin ecosystem don't know much about it because they didn't do a great job
using Core.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it is a Coinbase venture backed project, right? So I think it's more about liquidity that's over there, and some of these institutional players probably pouring a bit into Core because of that. But you see something like Pith up 6.4%. For the people that are trying to figure out what Pith is, it's a competitor of we talked about him this morning. Does the Oracle stuff, right? So Chainlink has pretty much dominated a lot of these Oracle markets, right? With predictions, with randomizations, but Pith is that second option, right? Maybe Chainlink becomes too expensive for their SDK or whatever and all that stuff, their APIs, whatever. Pith is kind of saying, hey, we're cheaper, we're a good option as well. So that's pretty cool. You're starting to see competitors that are top 3 in these popular categories that I think most of the regular community in crypto don't think about. It's more builders, and because we deal with builders, that's why we know this, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, some other big names here. Dog with Hat up 11.5%. Flocky up 10.5%. Let's go to utility here. Jupiter up 7.3%. Aptos up 8.6%. ADA up 5.3%. Wow, Monero up 10%. Why do you think that is?
Privacy coin. It's just people just bullish on privacy. Potentially that is a narrative that people maybe want to be pushing in their portfolio. A lot of big investors, they like to have their money in different places in crypto. Like XMR is kind of like that that version of privacy, and then you have money in AI crypto, you have money in chains and L2s and stuff like that. So I just think that is just an area people might be weren't really bullish on until Trump kind of took office now. So
and exactly, right. So the new administration has been kind of laying off on super heavy control with regulation, and so these privacy coins will probably benefit the cycle from that, right? And so that's a good point there. Let's see, Ondo, which is going to be the RWA chain.
5%. Okay,
5%, 5.3%. AVAX up 8.1%. Probably a little bit of that has to do with that FIFA news there. Crypto.com up 2.9%. And if you guys want us to check anything, just put it in the chat. We'll take a try to find it for you guys. Litecoin up 3%. So Litecoin's one of those legacy coins that, yes, there was a leader with Charlie Lee. There was a narrative as they're the silver to Bitcoin's gold, but you don't really hear too much about Litecoin in crypto Twitter. How do you see a coin like Litecoin doing in this type of market?
Well, proof of work. I think people are going to want to have a part of their portfolio in POW. I think Litecoin and Bitcoin are right there. You got stuff like, potentially Bells is in there as well. I think that, again, I think people like to structure their portfolio with areas of projects, and Litecoin has been battle tested. It has been around for a long time. It's probably getting in the ETF. So I think that's a really good investment for safer investors, right? For that
Yeah.
guy who, maybe he's all Apple and all, and Bitcoin, and he wants to get a little risky, he'll get risky in something like Litecoin.
Yeah. Do you think Litecoin will eventually need to, get active with promotion and also, trying to build a builder ecosystem in the future?
I mean, UTXO building is so tough, right? You're seeing it in Cardano. It does seem like they want to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold, right? Being that basically the same thing. I mean, I think they have 40. I think it's like 48,000 or 48 million is their thing, or 42 million is like their cap or something like that. So it's like double the Bitcoin stuff. So yeah, I just think Litecoin doesn't really need to do anything. They just kind of keep doing their thing. I mean, they've been doing their thing now for over 12 years. Right. So, I mean, the longer you're around, the longer you're proven. And, they want to be money. They don't want to be a blockchain that actually has stuff on it. I mean, you're seeing that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to take it down to
yeah.
about the 101 to 200 ranking. So we know that dog falls into this category. So we can kind of see what
Ooh.
they have done. It says dog is up 14.8%. So congratulations to you crazy dog community people and to Leonidas. I mean, it's obviously the Kraken news is big. I do
Yeah.
think people are starting to get a little bit of FOMO that, we're on the ledge of, or, on the line of, do I trust that Runes is going to, be adopted, or is it going to continually not perform well? And now they've given some more conviction, right, because of this, right?
Yeah.
So we see that there. Anything stick out to you on this right away?
Just like the memes are going right now, right? You're seeing Popcat kind of pop. We saw Dog Whiff kind of pop, and now Dog kind of fits into there as being one of the top memes of the cycle. Peanuts up a little bit, and you got shocking KSM, or Kusama is still going up there. I don't know who's buying Kusama as KSM.
Kato's down
PXDY.
2.3%. That's
Yeah,
weird, a little bit, but maybe they
they had a
have
run up the last couple of days.
okay. So it's
Yeah, it was
just
like one
a
of the leading winners this week.
just a natural pullback, basically.
I'm curious.
Toshi,
Hit the week real quick. I just want to see that one coin. Yeah. See. Wait, where is it?
which
Kato,
one?
9% for the week. Kato.
Wow, 96%. What the heck is KTA?
Yeah, I don't know. It's down today though. Oh no, it's
Well,
zero.
that's
Right?
like 0.8%. Yeah. Toshi is down 3.5%, and it's one of
Yeah.
the bigger, I think Toshi's a meme / AI play because it's in
Yeah.
virtuals too. So
Mhm.
that one's interesting to see that pullback. Snek is up 8.2%,
Yeah.
and it's the biggest Cardano meme and probably community. And I think there was also some rumors that they were going to get listed. Was it on Kraken or another tier one?
They did get listed on Kraken.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're on
Yeah.
Kraken. Look,
Yep.
look, congratulations, because they actually were waiting on a tier one listing as well, right? And so Kraken was the first to make a move there. Do you think this Kraken kind of adoption of two big community UTXO tokens, meme tokens, opens up this kind of, I guess, viral type of activity from the other centralized exchanges? Or do you think they're just sitting back saying, all right, Kraken, like you do you, we're going to do us?
Yeah, I think Kraken's just leading the charge. I think, every exchange has to have some type of plan that separates themselves from others. And I think Kraken chose to go after building their own indexers and bringing on these tokens to do that, right? Because it's not as easy as listing a Solana token. Like I believe that Kraken spent since November building these indexers for Cardano and Bitcoin, because we do know, like, it's not like a ERC20, right? You have to actually look into the mempool and look into these UTXOs and kind of seeing what's in them, because they're traded inside UTXOs, right? So I think they're doing something different, and this could actually attract users who want to buy these tokens. Oh, where can I buy Snek? And where can I buy Dog? And then you're like, oh, I'll go use Kraken. Then you start using Kraken, and you're like, oh, wow, I like this better than Binance. That is what Kraken is trying to do here by listing these tokens, in my opinion.
It makes sense. It's a good strategy, right? You're onboarding a group of communities that
Mhm.
have been a little bit shunned from the other
Exchanges.
exchanges, right? And so you're trying to onboard them, and also they're two big brands too. I mean, you could hate Cardano all you want, but they've been here for a while. They've been really
Yeah.
well marketed, and And then, of course, Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin meme coin marketing, we talked about that. I think it's going to be big for the summer leading into Q4. But okay, cool. So other than that, I think like things are looking green, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully we could see this continue with the alt market, because we've been waiting for a long time for this.
Yeah, 100%. So Colin Toss crypto just tweeted. I want to get your opinion on this. This wasn't a part of this pre-show stuff, but so Colin says, at a rough guess, I give Bitcoin 3 to 6 months before the top is in. Obviously, I will continue to monitor things in real time and make more precise analysis with variety of metrics, which I will share. But this seems to be realistic. And then I came across this right here, which is kind of what he's kind of saying. So potentially, we're in May here and we got the upper momentum. So June is going to be absolutely nuts. July being the top there, July and August potentially. What do you think about that? About what Colin's saying here in this chart? Do you think we could be resetting and then November kind of being the bottom?
No, because he said 3 to 6 months. And I think that
Yeah.
range is very strategic that he gave.
Yeah.
So he must have like an inkling or some sort of gut intuition that there's a solid chance that maybe, like on the 3-month side, we're still talking about August, right?
Yeah.
And late August or mid to late August. So that's the very short side, and then the 6-month side, obviously that leads into November, December. So I think that was very favorable for him to put 3 to 6 months there, because it just basically he's going to be right regardless if he thinks the top is in, which I'm in that camp by Q4. And so I was always the guy that said I think we're going to have a blow off the top Q4. Whether that starts in September, October, November, December. So October, or maybe we get some of that starting in before Q4 a little bit, and then just extends into it. But yeah, so I'm in agreement with him for like most of that, what he said.
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite. I think Q2 of next year is going to be that blow off top. I think we're going to have a really good Q4, but I don't think it's going to be, because if we have a Q4 with blow off top, right, then it's just it goes back to every single cycle, and this cycle is obviously different. We've never really had this type of cycle before, and last time that this cycle was close, where we had this it took a while for Bitcoin to get going, was 2017, and the top was actually in January of that following year, right? It wasn't in Q4, it was actually in Q1. So I'm kind of thinking we're going to be in May of next year is when I think the top is. I think we're about to have, potentially 12 months of upward momentum with a little bit of sideways, and then insane bull markets altogether. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, because like it's the biggest difference of this cycle is that the institutions are fully thrusted themselves into our space, and it's changed a lot of stuff.
Well, every cycle had that, right? The 2017 year cycle had
not like this cycle though.
Well, it had stable coins. It was the first time ever where stuff wasn't against Bitcoin. It wasn't against Ethereum. It was actually against stable coins. So every cycle kind of had their own type of thing. And then last cycle was a DeFi. We didn't have DeFi last cycle.
Never did we have a cycle that the U.S. administration was friendly.
Yeah, but again, we had different stuff though. Like we never had
I think friendly changes everything though, because friendly says Apple's adding Apple Pay and Google's adding Google Pay.
I'm just saying every cycle we had their own
at a different scale.
Stablecoins were massive.
At different scale though.
At the time though, they were basically just as significant, right? At the time, having stablecoins for the first time was insane. The time having DeFi for the first time was absolutely insane. Decentralized finance.
We've already seen our cycle thrown off though from what we're used to. You know what I mean? And it's been thrown off because of the ETFs. It's been thrown off because that institutions have made Bitcoin way more stable than it's ever been. And so that's the difference. And so like I'm still calling kind of a Q4 typical blow off the top. So if anything, you're probably more in the camp of what I'm saying right now, saying May of next year would be the top, because if you looked at the previous cycles, the top had ended before.
Yeah. Well,
Before that next year.
So
before the bull run year was always the bull run year, is basically what I'm saying.
So let me ask you this. Let's just say you're right. We do get a Q4 blow off top for Bitcoin, right? Do we then see an immediately a downtrend? Do we immediately start like dropping 10, 15%? Or does alts kind of run heavy for another 3-4 months after Bitcoin tops?
No, I think right now, like the alts that we're used to and stuff is like I think our run is a tight window this year, probably sometime in Q4, and then it's going to be done. And then next year, I think like the alts are the ones that are going to suffer the most, and Bitcoin's going to be more stable. So we're going to hit that top, and then maybe like a 10% retracement with like sideways, and then whenever like there's like good news and stuff, we'll have like a pop up. But I don't think the alts are going to really respond too much, and there's going to be new. I think there's going to be a different like. There's going to be new, and that this happens too every cycle, is that there's new tokens that enter into the top 10 and top 20 or whatever. But I think some of the new ones that are going to be really strong are going to be like these TradFi institutional ones like Ondo and stuff like that, that just keeps adding like TVL, and like that's the playground for these Wall Street basically, right? At that point. So
is it possible for us not to have a bear market then? And just kind of go, maybe Bitcoin drops 30%, and then we just kind of have this new digital land map and digital assets, or kind of maybe some of them dip, but then we have new stuff popping online because we have government's acceptance now, and then maybe we get some stuff that like runs heavy this entire bear market.
Yeah, so I look at it like this, the casino's gonna be slowly like in the corner. Right. So right now the casino is still pretty much out there. Right. But you're going to eventually have more trusted brands that traders that are more traditional, like TradFi, are going to notice in the space, and they're going to be sending a lot of their like capital and stuff to do whatever they do with those players. And I think the casino starts to really shrink, but it still will always be there. Right. And I think that that's what we're going to see. We're going to see protections too, more standardizations. I think we talked about this in yesterday's show, but like I forgot what it was about. It was about like either stablecoin standardization or something. But we're going to see brands come in and that have always protected their consumers in Web 2. Carry some of that over to Web 3. And I think we're going to see traditional Web 3 builders kind of look at that and be like, they're going to probably steal a lot of our market and business and stuff like that. So we're going to have to start adopting those standardizations to protect consumers. And like kind of what we said this morning pre-show, Bitcoin and Monero and maybe Litecoin, some of these proof of work that can't really be messed with will be really the only decentralized kind of chains in the future, I think.
Yeah, no, we'll see. I definitely agree. Let's jump into roll call here. All right, so the first comment of the day was my boy Danny. Shout out to Danny. You, my friend, have win number 23 on the year. Congratulations to you. Nabob had his first win yesterday. Lucky Lukey won this week, and ASAP won this week as well. So if you don't know what this is, every day the first comment of the show gets recorded, and today that first comment was Danny. Danny also dropped a super chat. He said, the only time I didn't super chat, I got reaped. So I don't know. Just remember, Danny, that doesn't always work, man. So, but we really appreciate that super chat for sure. Lucky Lukey was in that two spot. Shout out to Lucky Lukey, seconds behind Danny. ASAP was a minute behind Danny. Shout out to ASAP. And then we have Malam Yuri is here. Shout out to Malam. PJNZ is here. Whoa, PJNZ, peanut butter jelly time. It's been a little while, or am I thinking? I think it's been a little while for you, my friend.
I think it's been probably like a couple of days to a week.
Gotcha. Shout out to Mats is here. And then we have, let's see, Nabob is here. Shout out to Nabob. Every single day, Nabob. Appreciate you, my friend. And then Superfan comes in with a GM. Shout out to Superfan. Chief Axel is here. Katie N is here. And then we have Danny Boy and Nighthawk team up. Says, I think this is just Nighthawk, but he says, GM, we ballin', holding hands all the way to victory. Sure. Courtney Johnson is here. Hit us with a piece. Get some ZBCN. Not sure what that is, but Courtney is always on that risk curve, man. Danny Boy is here. Bitmap Capital is here. Shout out to Bitmap Capital. Mempool Punk is here. Tony R says, Tony R got a lot of messages here. He says, my shitcoin are dead. BTC pumping just hurts me. I'm dead inside. I pull Bitmap Punks for like $1,500. That also killed me. BSV ripped off my balls. Craig Wright F'd me in the A. And then we have Tony R says, "Hey guys, can you buy some Bells coin? What are you guys doing now? Literally recording tea leaves." I think more important event. Tony R is just obviously Trump.
You should have put like 2 or 3 of your thoughts in one comment each time.
So I think he calls us scammers. He said it's not 2017 no more. I'm too old. Retards worshiping Trump Jesus. Wow, you are on a roll today, Tony R. Absolutely awesome. He said, "Do you remember what Bitcoin original idea? It's not BlackRock ETF. It doesn't matter what the
Can you tell that to
was,
the maxis that are complaining about the op return stuff, because they celebrate big time whenever BlackRock enters the game."
Malam Yuri says, "Do you guys think we get another aggressive bull run in 28 and 29, or is this might be the last?" I actually think Bitcoin hits $6 million in 28, 29, maybe 30, but I think Bitcoin's going to be between $6 and $7 million by 2030. That's
and look, guys, so the crypto space that has been here since whenever, let's say you came in last cycle, let's say you came in 2017, like Tony, which he's too old now, obviously, but all that experience, I truly believe this, all that experience of being in the space will pay off for whenever some of these institutions start to roll out these RWA products and stuff like that. We know how to do this, right? And TradFi, people that are used to TradFi they have a learning curve to deal with a little bit, right? Now, I do think that like we still are going to have to learn to see who's going to be the winners in the future for the next 5 to 10 years, right? Because I think that's going to look completely different than what it looks like now. Just like the .com bubble was completely different during that phase. People made millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, either through trading those speculative .coms or by selling their companies that didn't even go on to be successful. EVE was it Mark Cuban, right? Mark Cuban is an example of that. But the game changed completely with Google and all the internet companies, the YouTube and everything, right, in the future. So I think that we just got to stay focused here. We know how to do everything here, and we got to learn the next 2 to 3 years which players are going to be the dominant ones in our space, because then I think that's when everybody really like you can benefit from the cycle, absolutely. But I think down the line, generational pass down wealth and stuff, it's still going to be there for the people that came in early.
100%. I still think we're super early. MoChain says, "My first crypto was a red coin in 2016. Now I'm an ICP maxi." Mom says, "Well, that's crazy." Tony says, "I was there when Dogecoin launched." So you must be a very rich man, Tony R. Did you see this new thing by StreamYard? Show comments on stage?
No,
I just seen it. I'm gonna put it on.
When they first come in, it comes up probably.
Can someone put a comment in? I want to see what this new feature. Apparently, it's brand new. I never.
So Tony R was there when Dogecoin launched. Yeah, it's funny because we were talking yesterday in a meeting with one of our partners, Shizzy and I, and I got into Bitcoin in 2013, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't have enough for like at the time I thought Bitcoin was expensive. It was like it went all the way to 1,000, so it hit that all-time high in 2013 already, or and so I bought it at like $800, and I only bought $200 of it, and it wasn't doing anything. So I was like, okay, what coin is going to be the next Bitcoin? I got into Feather coin, which obviously didn't pay off, but it's so funny that there was shit coins back then. So they've been destined this entire time, guys. Can't get rid of them.
You see this? It's pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. At least lets us know, because like we can see it. Probably can't read it unless we zoom in here. Yeah,
I can read it. The reason I bought red coin and stuff. Yes, I love that. And now I can potentially put this on thing. Yeah. So thank you guys for testing out our new feature. It's just shout out to StreamYard, man. The only problem is now is it might get like up on your face eventually. I don't know how high this
no. It's a feed. Like we'll push Danny off, fade out, or whatever, and it'll go to the next one. BBQ coin, I don't remember that one. How did China coin not succeed? I mean, like all the Chinese, I would think would pump that, man. They're all about pumping.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Let's kind of get into the story of today here. Sui got hacked this morning. Not great. But Sui has been the winning chain. So definitely let's take a look at see what happened. So The recent incident involving Cetus Protocol, is it Cetus or Cetus?
Cetus, I believe.
Cetus Protocol, a decentralized exchange DEX on the Sui blockchain, has led to conflicting reports regarding the extent of the losses. The initial assessment indicated that approximately 11 million worth of Sui tokens were drained from the Sui USD liquidity pool. This prompted Cetus to pause its smart contract. However, analysts suggest that the exploit may have been far more extensive. On-chain data from Look On-Chain and other sources estimate that over 260 million in digital assets were compromised. While the initial 11 million figure pertained to the immediate losses observed in the Sui USDC pool, further investigation revealed that the multi-pools and assets were affected. The incident has had a significant impact on the Sui ecosystem, causing a sharp decline in the value of several tokens and raising concerns about security of DeFi platforms on emerging blockchains. This guy, Jeremy, he tweeted, "The Sui hacker is not done. His wallet balance just keeps increasing, currently holding 400 million in Sui coins and another 60 million in ETH." Tyler tweeted, he said 70 million market cap to 1 million in a single, 70 million to 1 million in a single 1 minute candle, 98%. What a beauty. I do have that tweet. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I accidentally buried it. Here it goes. So the coin, it's from Tyler Durden. He's a big figure in the crypto space. So this is his chart here, and the token was called Lo-Fi Sui, but you see a $70 million market cap, and I'm guessing the hacker somehow got a big portion of the liquidity pool because he dumped it to $1 million. And I'm not sure what it is right now, but this is absolutely crazy. Then the Sui CPO came out. Iman Abayo says 160 million of the 220 million stolen has been frozen and will be restored to Cetus pool soon. Wow, man. Absolutely crazy morning for Sui. What do you take from all this, and what are you thinking it happens with Sui next?
Yeah, so they had a lot of momentum, right, building up until this, and I think it was MoChain that said not Sui. He says Cetus, but yeah, obviously the Sui is getting sold down though, so it does affect Sui, even though it is the protocol that was breached. So this is probably a scary moment that I think a lot of those people that we have debates with that are Bitcoin fundamentalists say that this is why they don't want Bitcoin to have DeFi on Bitcoin, right? Is because you relax on security measures, but you also can't compare Bitcoin to Sui. Sui's like a protocol that was built in the last couple of years. Bitcoin, just by upgrading it, is not going to make it like vulnerable like that. Now, what do I think for Sui's case? Sui has a ton of backing. Multiple different institutions, big institutions are backing them. So they want to make this probably go away as quick as possible. They want to assist, help, all those things. The problem is that the wallet keeps growing. Like, why can't they plug the hole here? Why can't they stop the leak? And that's concerning. That's very concerning. And so I'm a little bit worried because Sui had so much momentum. They were actually about to, have a lot of builders kind of try to scale Bitcoin assets with Sui as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get past this, because this isn't a centralized exchange. This is a protocol on a chain. But one thing I will say is that they should probably go look at Stacks and Alex and see how they handled that, because I know this is probably bigger scale wise.
No, I
but
think
like
that on, yeah.
They handled that perfect. Like, honestly, like no one talks about that anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, even when it happened, I think we were the only ones that covered that. You know what I mean? And in our space, and it's a Bitcoin layer 2 stacks, right? So, but I think they did such a good job with like the PR cleanup. So we should probably look to that case study and maybe follow some of those procedures that Stacks and Alex did.
Yeah, you're dead on. 100% agree with that. Like, that was perfect. I didn't even think about that. They how to use, Cetus is basically what Alex was to Stacks. Cetus is to Sui, right? So 100%. And after it happened, Stacks dropped like 40%, but then no one really talked about it after that. So, but Sui's holding on tight here. I'm really surprised that it's hanging on so well. But you are seeing that they said they froze the tokens or something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like how they can just freeze tokens, but it is. I guess
Well,
it is
hey,
what it
look,
is.
people didn't like how Solana could do that. They just basically hit pause on the entire chain.
Yeah.
You know, I know people that are Solana people are like, "That's not what happened. You don't know what you're talking about." Well, that's what was portrayed to everybody, and so at the end of the day, people moved forward from that and still use it a lot. So
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of Bitcoin L2s, though, let's dive into another Bitcoin L2. So we're basically seeing a massive gain here today by Merlin. And we have a tweet today from Bitmap Tech. He says, this is Jeff. He's on our show every Monday. He says, after we did 35 million MERL airdrop for the Binance Alpha, it got down to about 8 cents. I remember looking at it last night like, damn. Now it's back up to 12.1. Actually, it's up to almost 13 now. With almost 50% up with 80 million daily volume. Thank you for those who aren't selling the airdrop, he's saying. Let's actually show this chart. What do you think about Sui here? This is the daily.
Sui?
I'm sorry, MERL. This is the daily here. Got Sui
Well,
in my
I
brain.
think, yeah, I think he probably did a great job in terms of strategy on how to make sure that this was like absorbed. You know what I mean? Because yeah, like doing the partnership with Binance Alpha, I think that's really beneficial for the
Yeah.
MerlinChain and ecosystem, because I think people will speculate, you know, that they'll most likely get listed on Binance, and I just think he's been playing things very, very well, you know, especially
Yeah.
as of late, right? Partnerships, you know, and then this is an airdrop give back to Binance Alpha community, you know, and then being able to kind of recover from that, right? I think it's really big, and it shows that there's probably other large whales and institutions and investors that believe in the future of MerlinChain because of these partnerships, because MBTC is starting to grow and have a reputation. That's huge. That's TVL. That's TVL that whatever happens with that could eventually boost up also Merlin token as well. So these are all speculations, obviously, in terms of like boosting up the price, but I think once we're in the heat of it, of this alt market, whenever it comes, because it's going to decide on its own, I think that Merlin's going to be right in the middle of that, and I think we're going to start. We'll see like milestones, you know, 40 cents, 60 cents, 80 cents, $1, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But that's just my perspective, opinion on it. But yeah, look, the partnerships and stuff that has to mean something big in the future. So we'll see if these continue.
Yeah, 100%. So this is kind of what I'm thinking happens with the Binance Alpha. I haven't really looked at any Binance Alpha drops before, but it does seem like, you know, the team that does the Binance Alpha basically does an airdrop to the Binance Alpha users. To how to get on Binance Alpha, I'm not 100% sure. I think you just sign up on with your Binance account, and that'll actually, so a lot of those Alpha users get points, right? And by getting those points, it allows you to get airdrops. So Merlin airdropped these to the Binance Alpha guys. Then they dumped it, because that's what happens a lot of times when you get airdrops. You dump it because it's free money and you want to take advantage of that free money. But then, you know, you got to see investors on the sideline that are sitting there and they're kind of like, man, okay, this might get listed now on Binance, because that's what normally happens with these Binance. I mean, you know, I think it's like 80 to 90% of the tokens that get airdropped in the Binance Alpha program are eventually listed. Not saying it's going to happen for MERL, but I think a lot of these investors now kind of seen the dip, waited for it, and then piled in. They said, okay, 60% of the tokens that's got airdropped are now sold. I can get in now safely. And it does feel like we're kind of getting that Binance momentum, you know, being up 35% today.
Yeah, and for the people, you know, participating in the proof of stake by staking their Merlin tokens for 15% APR, like Danny, our guy Danny, I imagine that you should. This is just a speculation, but you should be probably sitting pretty happy once we get into the thick of it, like I mentioned earlier, right? And so yeah, you know, his network is growing, and there's just a big movers and shakers in that network for sure.
100%. But shout out to Jeff, shout out to MerlinChain, absolutely amazing. Shout out to Danny boy staking his stuff there. So all right. Next thing here. So Trevor, who is the leading pizza ninja, it's kind of his. Would you say Pizza Ninjas is Trevor's collection?
Yeah, I mean it's under the brand.
Okay. So Trevor actually put out a tweet this morning. I didn't know about this. Did you know that Pizza Ninjas were going to get another $1,500 100 ninjas entering
I
the
feel
ecosystem
like I do remember this back then, saying that
Okay.
they did have more supply to kind of add to it.
Yeah.
How many died though? Do you know
Pizza
that?
ninjas? No. This is the pizza pets. This
Oh,
is the
pizza
pizza
ninjas.
ninjas.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This
So I
is
thought you were talking about pizza pets. Okay, so
no,
pizza
no, no,
ninjas.
no.
That
So
was,
this,
I did
yeah.
not know about this.
So Pizza Ninja, I think there's what 3,300. Let's actually jump over to Magic Eden. I'm on the runes right now. Let's hop over to the ordinal side of things. Come on. All right, and then go to Bitcoin. So Pizza Ninjas, they're probably getting wrecked today, honestly. No, they're actually up. So let's kind of go into them. I'm actually surprised they're not getting kind of dumped down with this news here, but we'll read it in a second. I just want to see how many is in that collection. Come on. Okay, so there's a 1,500. So right now there's only 1,500, right?
Okay.
And according to Trevor's tweet here, mint details, hundreds of new traits, 15 dynamic new characters, 1,500 total new ordinals. So he's doubling the supply here.
Yeah, so I don't know what the roadmap was and the plan and all that stuff, So like it's kind of the same thing with OMBs, right? You know that a lot of these sometimes they come. So 10K has always been kind of like that standard, like good supply amount, right?
Yeah.
And they seem to be like the more popular ones and stuff like that. But then you have stuff like OMB, and they start to be like really popular within the ordinals community. But then you hear that there is a plan to end at probably 10,000.
Yeah.
And so I kind of probably, that's what I see, something similar here, right? I mean, let's not get it twisted. Like those OMB launches, man, like ZK probably sitting real nice right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a launch literally that like the price was 1 Bitcoin. Remember?
Yeah. 100%. So right now, the Pizza Ninjas are going for 0.03 on the market, and he's going to be selling for 0.01, the mint price. So if you're holding a mint Pizza Ninja, wouldn't you immediately just sell it for 0.02 and then potentially go buy 2 new ones once he's after this
Well,
mint?
I mean,
Like I'm just not understanding this.
I'm sure he's doing something different with these. Like, there's got to be a little something different with them. Maybe it's like different sats. Maybe it's different. Like there's a marking on all of them or something, because that's what I would do, because then that first generation is going to be more valuable. Just like OMB, that was brilliant with OMB.
That's true.
If you look at the blue eyes, I mean, they go for a lot. The red eyes, blue eyes, green eyes go for much more. Obviously, they're tiered, and then the orange eyes, and then the recent one, right? And so that's what I believe he's probably going to do. If he's not, I don't know why he wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Doubling the supply, charging a third of the price. I don't know, man. Who qualifies? You have to qualify to get one. So what's probably going to happen too is if you own a Pizza Ninja, you're probably going to be able to get it qualified for the mint, right? So yeah, so that's probably it too. I didn't think about that. So, but I don't know. We'll see what happens here. We do know the OMBs dropped heavily going into the mint. So we'll see if
that's a natural thing. But I will say, Trevor and his team, they've done a good job curating their community. I see a lot of Pizza Ninjas, from the East, Eastern communities, like the Chinese community, Asian communities, they have Pizza Ninja PFPs, right? And then obviously you see it from some Stacks community people and then Ordinals community as well. So he's done a pretty good job in terms of curating a strong community.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, jump to the next thing here. OpenSea is now on Abstract. OpenSea was the first marketplace gateway for many. Now they're officially integrated to Abstract into the platform. So we do know that Abstract doesn't have really any pudgies over there yet. They don't have any little penguins either. It's just kind of like the stuff that was created on their chain so far. Do you think this is a big deal for Abstract? OpenSea now being able to trade on OpenSea?
Probably should have been done before. It's like adding them after the high, like this. Now there's people that dude, this is why I always say Luca Nets is the GOAT when it comes to business knowledge, experience, and just the businessman in our space, right? Like everybody was fudding Abstract. Everybody was fudding it like the first 2 weeks. Now everybody's all up on it, right? And so like OpenSea announcing they're adding Abstract now, that's a joke. Like this is why Magic Eden has been winning. They did the same thing with Ordinals. They took the risk on Ordinals. They did the same thing with Abstract right at launch. They said, hey, we're going to launch with you, right? I don't know. Maybe OpenSea has too much money. Maybe they raised too much money. Maybe they're just sitting there smoking cigars at their house. I don't know. Like, but it seems like some sort of like backwards business strategy, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It really does. It really does. All right, let's quickly jump into some market updates here. I'm gonna go over some stuff real quick. So we'll take a look at the stuff. We got Ethereum up 3% in 24 hours, XRP up 1%. We got BNB up 2%, 4%. So yeah, so no real big movers here, just like we saw in the hyper bubbles. But I gotta show you something, bro. Hold on, let me make sure my wallet's not showing. But I don't know if you are paying attention to Altcoins right now, but I'm in the B token and it doubled while we're live. So it's up to 1.4 million. So yeah, so
the bees,
yeah.
man.
So shout out to the bees here, up 124%, $1.29 million. Now we were just talking about earlier, and it was like 8 or 9 100K. So yeah, shout out to the bees. You're now officially over $1 million. I am very happy. I got into this pretty heavily the last couple of days, so really excited for the some of these. So it is funny that Altcoins aren't listed on Kraken, but you're kind of seeing some of these kind of outpace the runes here. You're seeing methane up 10%, B up 224%. So what do I do here, bro? I'm up probably like 200% at this point on my initial buy-in for bees. Do I take my initial out?
I mean, that's
or do I let it roll?
Good traders would do.
I'm not a good trader. But,
okay, well, that is what I think. That's what good traders with some brains would do. They would say, "Okay, let me take my initial out, and then let like." That's why I think people. That's where the term moonbag obviously came from, right?
Yeah.
And so, look, dude, like, just take out your initial that you put in.
No, but this thing is a baby, bro. Look at BitCat sitting at 5 million. I mean, this could easily.
If you can,
get there.
but you're always going to say that. Like, you know what I mean? You're always going to say, but it could go like to the moon.
But look at the holder count, 2,000 and 2,100. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to the moon. I'm just saying that it could.
What was the market cap that you got into?
I started getting in between 300 and 400K.
Okay, so you're at what, like a 4x?
Well, I bought in.
Okay, you DCA'd, so you're probably like a 2.5x or something.
600K was like my big one of my bigger buys. So my average is probably around 500K, honestly.
I do think like and this is just me like my perspective is that like, let's say that you don't take your initial out now, maybe just set like a market cap that you do take it no matter what.
Well, I did originally. It was 5.47, but now I'm sitting here
what is it at now?
1.29.
So you still have a ways to go, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fine.
But that's what I'm saying. But I wasn't expecting it to be this quick.
Just stick to what your strategy was, right? Like that's still like almost a 3.5x from where we are.
Yeah. So shout out to all the Altcoins out there, guys out there. I don't know. I'm gonna hold today. If it goes back down, I wasn't expecting this pop anyway, right? So I'm kind of
Can you read what is it, Ordinal's tweets? So we're not getting the X chats, but it is coming through the feed thing.
It's not coming on the
no, it says guys, only my love for something will save this world. I can't read.
He's talking about Casey's girl.
There it is. Aaron will save this world. Okay. Well, dang. I think she's engaged though, brother. But hey, look, you can still love her and it will save the world.
I don't know if you know, but underneath that chat there's like that upward button. You can press that and then you can read it really well. That's what I've been doing. You know what I mean? You go to full screen. You see a little full screen.
I'm on square. But it says, there you can I scroll it up and down?
No.
I don't have the upward button. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I have
That's
high
weird
chat.
The X chats aren't coming in. Oh, because the X chats go on top, remember? So this is it right here.
Okay. That's okay. That makes sense. Maybe that's how it's always been. And so
I think we missed a lot of the X chats because
all right, so we need to
now we can
looking
kind of see them here.
Yeah.
Well, we can see them here now, so that's good.
Exactly. So it gives us a notification. So
basically, because that's one thing we definitely want to get more into talking in the chats, guys. Really appreciate you guys for sure.
OnChain says, bro, take 80% and wait.
I know, but what if it goes to 5 million this week?
What if you go to the gas station and buy a lotto ticket and you win $5 million?
But I bought this as an investment, right? That's the thesis I had when I bought this. I was like, you know what, I'm putting a couple grand in here. You know, this is my Altcains. You know,
Play.
This is how I'm getting exposure to Altcains. Right? This is my play in Altcains, right? I have like a 3 to 6 months play with this, right? So that was kind of my thing with this. But now I'm like, you know, my couple of grand turned into a couple of more grand, and I'm, you know, that's just kind of what I'm thinking on that. But we'll see. I might be bitching tomorrow, coming in here and saying, "Damn, I should have sold the high."
He will be,
and not that. We'll see. Let's give a quick runes overview here, because we do know that Kraken has listed some dogs. So I'm kind of curious on your opinion, because now I might have some extra B money here if I do take profit. where should I put if I do take profit here? Some extra B money. It's a good trade, and then runes. Because I do want more exposure to runes. We see it on the 1 day. Dogs up 8%, Mims up 1%, Billy's up 0.8.
There's two plays right off the bat, bro. There's 2 plays right off the bat. Gizmo or Bro Bear. I feel like Gizmo's at, he's at 5.46 million. Last all-time high was 30, so that's at least a 6x, right? Wow, and I think it can get to 30 kind of quick if like things start to run. That's just my these are just my speculations and my opinions, guys. So you know, just take it as you will. And then I think Bro Bear is still probably between 2 and 3 million. I think that could probably get to like 10, 15 pretty easily. And you're talking about, you know, 15 at 3 million of 5x. And then who knows, you know, there's good. If runes start to trade like really quick and it's a good experience and stuff, then you're going to have some of these crypto Twitter influencers really pushing it eventually for their own bags, you know?
Yeah.
Because they're going to start buying in the ones that have more opportunity. I think that actually happens. So these big ones will continually blow up. There'll be whales that like push these, like Billy get to 500 million, you know, maybe a billion one day. That's the whole goal with it, right? And then you'll see some of these other not necessarily native consistently in our community or ecosystem be like shilling runes. Yeah. You'll see that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with that. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for runes right now. When do you think is the next listing for Kraken? Now that runes indexer's live, dog is on there. When do you think the next listing, rune listing?
I have no idea. I don't even know what their cycle is like. Like, are they like a, you know, I don't know. I would imagine that, you know, they're obviously going to get it done before Q4. I think it'd be dumb to wait too long. You know, they might get it done before this. I think it's
done this week.
Yeah, maybe before the conference. That could be big.
Yeah, but like, let's just say it does get listed. Let's just say it gets listed tomorrow. We got tomorrow. Dogs listed. How many weeks, how many days, or how many months will it be until the next rune is listed?
Depends on the success, right? I think that if Dog has success, and they're doing big numbers, crazy numbers, let's say Dog is like at like 1.5 billion, knocking on the door of 2. They start eyeing the next one. And then some of these other ones kind of low hanging fruit too, right? Like you're talking about, like Billy might be at 50 million. And so trying to take that to $1 billion, that's a lot of transaction fees they could take advantage of, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So.
All right, guys, that is our show today. Really appreciate all 178 people in here on YouTube and X, not to mention everybody on Rumble, everyone on Abstract, and everyone on Twitch, also Spotify later. We appreciate every single one of you guys every single day, and that is our show.
Absolutely. We always say, I'm going to say it again, every show, without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this, and we love to do this every day, guys. So we appreciate you. We're so thankful for you. We're also thankful for our partners as well, as they help us be allowed to do this as well. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to trade runes, you got to do it at Sats Terminal. Reason why is you can actually earn Amber points. Every time you do a swap, you get 1,000 automatically, and the Amber points go towards an alpha that they're going to announce in the future relating to their project. You can kind of put 2 and 2 together there. You can actually also swap for Altcoins right now too. So there's referral links as well that you can find once you connect your wallet there, and then you can actually earn Amber the people that you refer, start to connect their wallet and do stuff as well. So it's exciting. We're really, really big on these guys for the future. They are connected to every major project. Every major project wants to work with them. So head over to satsterminal.com. You can really dig into what they're building, and they are really good at releasing information to their community. So make sure you follow them on X as well. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you want to play some bets, you can do so on their platform at betbtc.win. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and then you can start placing bets in their Blitz markets, which is a 10-minute you get 10 minutes to kind of pick either Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana if you think it's going to go up or down, and then 10 minutes to see if you won. They're going to have a lot more features right around the corner. They're going through some audits right now for this, but they are going to allow you guys to create your own markets. That's what's going to set them apart from Poly Market and stuff like that. You can actually create, a path for your own success here, earn up to 1.5% of the total volume of what your community or your friends, whoever's placing bets in your markets that you create. There's also a referral earnings too. That's going to be up to 1% of whatever volume is transactions that are happening on there. Head over to betbtc.win. You can learn more about these guys. And then Emblem Vault. OGs in the Bitcoin ecosystem. You got the CEO Jake Gallen, Adam McBride, part of that team, and the main dev, CTO Shannon as well. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to other environments like Abstract, Merlin, Base, eventually Solana as well. And you can do so eventually with using AI Agent Hustle, which is their Solana AI assistant right now. Usually, I utilize them for research for Solana stuff. In the future, I probably will utilize them to be able to jump my ordinals, but that's going to be once they add the Bitcoin tech stack to Hustle. But right now, you can use them for Solana. And don't forget about their Rune. They have a TGE in September. And you can actually buy a pre-sale right now at OpenSea if you search Emblem Founder Vaults. It is an NFT, but you will be able to get Bitcoin runes in September. They'll give you instructions once we get close to that time. Head over to emblem.vision to learn about these guys. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles there, like Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion cat, and pups, as well as possibly Ordi and Sats. And then the traditional tokens like XRP, Tau, Ethereum, stuff like that. And if you're not a trader, you don't want to, be on the risk side of things, you can actually add liquidity to their liquidity vaults there, and you can earn passively. But we're gonna have some more information about Artura and maybe some more traders tips videos as well coming up. Head over to Artura.finance. You can dig into their docs and then head over to their Discord, get connected, because they're gonna have some campaigns coming up, guys. And you'll earn points with that, so you can kind of put 2 and 2 together there as well. So check those guys out for sure. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They started off on Cardano, still building there. They just released their Aquarium platform where you can earn Babel fees there. But on the Bitcoin side, they were the first to create retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. So if you are a founder and you want community vaults, or you want vaults for your community, I should say, head over to their Discord. They have a team ready to answer your questions, and they'll get you set up. I believe they will be in Vegas as well. So maybe if you run into them, you can ask them as well. But yeah, it's exciting times for this team. Also, they have an airdrop tool for runes that's very cheap and effective right now. So if you are a founder and you want to airdrop runes to your community, you can utilize their airdrop tool. If you head over to fluidtokens.com, it's on the menu there along with staking as well. So excited about this team. And then Tokyo Wallet, which we just wrapped up the Bitcoin Blitz. They started off on Cardano as well. And they came over and said, hey, let's learn together with the Bitcoin ecosystem and builder ecosystem over here. So they're focused on user experience with the multi-chain smart wallet that they have. You can swap for runes directly on their wallet. They have partnered with Sats Terminal to make that experience seamless for you guys. But first, you got to get the wallet. And if you have an iPhone or an Android, for the iPhone, you got to go to the Apple App Store. Android, go to Google Play, download that wallet, use it, and then give us some feedback. If there's any features you want added, let us know. We'll let the team know as well. And then MerlinChain, we just talked about them. They are using Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. They have their 0.03 wizard AI that helps you navigate through MerlinChain.io. You can stake your Merlin tokens, like I said, for the proof of stake there. You can swap for tokens as well. And they're going to keep updating that version of the wizard there. But you've heard a lot of news from these guys, you know, so I think you should probably expect more, you know, headlines from them. They're doing huge things, partnerships with the Wrap Bitcoin DAO, Binance Alpha recently, and we're gonna have Jeff back next Monday, and I think maybe there's gonna be some exciting stuff there. We'll see, maybe not, but I just have a feeling maybe. But yeah, go to merlinchain.io to check them out. You can earn 15% APR by staking your Merlin tokens to help secure the chain. And lastly, but not least, is the Jungle ecosystem, formerly known as Foxy AI. They have a gaming ecosystem for Bitcoin builders. They are building the Cypher Striker first-person shooter game that everybody's invited to play. All you need is a supported Bitcoin wallet, and you pick a clan, and we go at it for about 45 minutes. Next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern should be the next round. So make sure you guys join. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace. Cheapest ordinals around you will find at Ordinal Hive. And they have some amazing like mempool insight tools as well. So thank you guys so much for checking us out.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have some time and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io, we have some of the best articles, guys. Articles dating all the way back to 2023. Check those out. We just got this brand new Altcoins article. If you would have read this, you probably would have gotten B and made a 3x just like me. Now I'm just playing, but definitely check out our articles here, guys. You know, and going back and kind of reading stuff, what was happening could actually, you know, set you up for the future, because if you can kind of see what's happening then, you might be able to predict the future by, you know, because a lot of the same time, maybe some things aren't exactly the same, but most of the time things rhyme. So definitely check out all of our articles here. And if you guys need a VPN, we have the #1 VPN that I use, that is Nord. Definitely check them out, guys, because every single device in my house has a VPN. All the kids' device, my wife's devices, everything, because I do not want them to go to any websites that actually give away the IP, which will then give away your address. You don't want that. I don't want that. Get a VPN. Use Nord. It is the best. Use our link too. And if you're going to Vegas, get your tickets through us, guys. We had a link here. There is a discount if you pay in Bitcoin. They are really expensive right now, but if you are going, please use our link. Get those tickets there. And click our store tab as well. If you need you know, merch for the next event, I think it's a little too late to get it for the Bitcoin event, but if you want it for the next event or kind of lounge around at home, we have some of the best stuff here, guys. Check everything out: hoodies, hats, t-shirts, jacket, and much more. Check it all out at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, and until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.